of nurses have been asking me, like, how do I start my application to become a nurse in Australia? Today, I'm breaking it all down for you, step by step, simple and updated. So, if you are an internationally educated nurse dreaming of working in Australia, stay with me right till the end because I'll also be touching on the PRO migration side, not just the license. So, guys, let's dive into it. Now, first things first, you need to know your role. In Australia, you can register either as an RN, a registered nurse, or an enrolled nurse. Most of you watching this are probably RNs, which means you'll be going through the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency, that's the AHPRA, and the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia, also known as the NMBA. But everything starts with the Internationally Qualified Nurse slash Midwife Self-Check, IQNM Self-Check. This is an online form where you enter your details about your qualification, and based on what you enter, the system places you into a stream. If you are from a country like the UK, US, or Canada, your pathway might be shorter. If you are from countries like India, the Philippines, Nigeria, or China, you will likely have to take the outcome based assessment. So don't rush this particular step, and please make sure the details match your actual document because your stream depends on it, because you are going to be placed either in stream A or stream B, stream 1 or 2. So once you've done the self-check, you'll be asked to complete orientation part 1. This is just a short online learning module that explains the Australian healthcare system. Like, think of it like Australia saying, this is how we do things here before you join us. You do the orientation part 2 only after you've registered. Next up, you will need to build what they call portfolio. This is like a documentation process. Most people get stressed with this actually, but let me simplify it for you. You just need to bring your proof of identity, which is your passport, birth certificate, name change document if applicable, your nursing qualification documents, verification of registration from your home country's nursing board, employment history, criminal history check, both from Australia and internationally done through the AHPRA approved providers. Now, here's my tip. Make sure your names match across all documentation, because if your passport says Marianne, but your degree says Marianne without the dash, AHPRA will question it. Or is Marianne without E and one is with E, they will question it and it can delay your whole application. Small things like this saves you time, so you need to take notes. Now let's talk about English, because that's another big one. In March 2025, the AHPRA updated the English requirements. IELTS writing minimum has been lowered to 6.5, but overall it needs to be 7. Your overall band needs to be 7. They've also added Cambridge test as an option, and they've expanded the list of recognized English speaking countries as well. But here's the catch: if you plan to apply for permanent residency, or you want to apply for a visa and all that later through the AMAC, that's the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council, their English is stricter. That's the English requirements is stricter for them. For example, AMAC usually wants IELTS in 7, band 7 each in each of the band. So take my advice, take the higher one, because so you can satisfy both the AHPRA and AMAC requirements, so you don't have to retake the test. Now, depending on your self-check stream, you may need to complete the outcome-based assessment. For registered nurses, this is a 2-step exam. The MCQ, which is the NCLEX RN, yes, the same NCLEX that you write when you want to go to the US. That's the MCQ, that's the NCLEX, and you can do this at any of the Pearson VUE centers worldwide. The second exam is the OSCE, which is a practical exam you take in Australia, where you demonstrate your nursing skills in clinical scenarios. If you are from certain comparable jurisdictions like the UK, Ireland, USA, Canada, some provinces in Canada, actually New Zealand, Spain, or Singapore, and you've done at least 1,800 hours of practice in the last 5 years, you might qualify for a streamlined pathway and skip the whole outcome based assessment stuff. So check carefully where you actually stand. Now, once you've done your exams, if required, and your portfolio has been assessed, you can now apply for registration with AHPRA. Here, you need to just meet the whole Australia's registration standards, which include having your English language proficiency test done, your criminal background check done, recency of practice, proof of the recency of practice, continuing professional development, and professional indemnity insurance. When everything checks out, your name goes on the APRA public register, and just like that, you are officially licensed to work in Australia. Once you're registered, you will do the orientation part 2. This is more detailed and happens once you're actually working in Australia, and it's like an induction process into their whole healthcare environment. Now, many of you have also asked, like, how do I get my PR? How do I get my visa? That's where the AMAC comes in. They do the skills assessment for migration. Registration with APRA is different from migration. So if you want to apply for permanent residency or for skilled visa, you will need an AMAC skills assessment. Once you pass the AMAC, the ANMAC, you can apply for visas like the 189 skill independent visa, the 190, 491, or if you have an employer, your employer can assist you to apply for 482/180 sponsorship visas. So each state and territory has its own list and requirement. So always double check before you start, and so that you can know which one is for which. Just to set your expectations straight as well, the whole process might be quite expensive depending on where you're applying from, if you're able to afford it, but just take one step at a time, because you have to pay for the self check, the portfolio, the OBA exams, the visa fees, and the timelines may also vary. The earlier you get your documents together, the faster it is. So to recap, number 1 is to do the self check, complete orientation part 1, build your portfolio, take the OBA if required, apply for registration, and then orientation part 2 comes in when you are in Australia. And that's the full process of how to become a nurse in Australia. I hope I was able to break it down in a way that feels clear and not overwhelming. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, share with a fellow nurse, drop your questions in the comment section. I'll reply with the parts where you will likely fall into.